Thank you for joining us for our caregiver webinar series for caring for a veteran. Today, I am very excited to have Karla with us from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Caregiver Programs. Karla is going to be presenting on the caregiver programs that their office provides. So thank you, Karla, for being here and sharing your information and expertise with everyone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And so, what I'm going to start off with right now is I'm going to just say hello so you guys can see me. But I'm going to actually turn off my camera because my width is very limited. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera, but I just wanted to make sure you guys were able to see me before I go off camera. And then what I want to do next is I'm going to share information about our Caregiver Support Program. So yes, my name is Karla Schumann, and I'm with the Caregiver Support Program here at the VA locally at Alita Elutz. And today we will be talking about the requirements for both of our programs. We have two separate programs, so we're going to be, I will be talking about that today. And so right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share my screen. So with that being said, can I get confirmation that you're able to see the slideshow, or you're able to see my page?
We cannot see it yet.
Okay, so let me wait a second. Maybe it's a little laggy. Um, let's see here. Let me try that again. Make sure I shared it correctly. All right, so share. All right. Okay. And then I picked screen one, and then share audio, and then hit the share button. Correct?
Yep.
Correct? Okay, and then hit the share button. Okay. And then it says stop sharing. So it's my end says it's sharing. Um,
No, I'm
and
not
then
seeing it,
can
Karla.
you see my screen?
Do you want to send it to me and I can try sharing it while?
No? Okay. Yeah, this I can do that as well. Yep, let me go
Okay.
ahead and stop sharing or not sharing, whichever. But yeah, let me go ahead and email it to you.
Okay.
So bear with me here. And thank you everyone for your patience. I appreciate that. We just want you to have something to see, just because you'll get tired of just hearing me speak, and it's just nice to see something. We're having this discussion, so I appreciate your time. And we just have to be patient and understanding with technology. Okay, and Sydney. Okay. Oh yeah, my computer system is slow.
Yeah, you are breaking up a little bit.
Okay, come on.
Hopefully we can get through this presentation with the slower internet.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The landline, yeah, it's really slowing down for me. Would you be like issues, um, Cheryl? Sydney, can you hear me, Sydney?
Yes, you're just breaking
Testing,
in and breaking up quite a bit.
testing. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll call in. So I'll use the phone to call in, and
Okay.
what I'll do is just we'll talk over the phone. We'll just have a conversation about the services and what we have to offer. unfortunately, we do apologize. Our connection here at the facility is not the best right now. So I truly apologize about that. But we'll make this work. So let's see here. Now I need to just get the call-in number to actually let me see, where's the phone? Um, do you know the number that I call into? Oh, okay, by dial by phone. Okay, one. Okay, oh, thank you. Okay, so 1312. Okay.
Thank you all for being so patient. You never know if technology and internet is going to work the way that we think it will work. So, thank you for sticking around and bearing with us as we work through these technical difficulties.
Cheryl? Sydney?
Hi, we can hear you.
Hey, perfect. Okay. Okay, all right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Again, true apologies, complete apologies, everyone. Um, so I am calling in from my phone, and because of technology issues, what we're going to do is we're just going to have a conversation over the phone, and I'm not going to show the presentation just because of connection issues. So this is going to be very candid, but I'm going to make sure that I give you the information that you want to hear. And of course, at the end, I'll have space for questions as well. And so if I start to speak fast, if you need me to slow down, please let me know. I have no problem slowing down. Sometimes when I get into talking about our program, I get in a groove. So please let me know, okay? With that being said, I'm gonna have Sydney, if you can just keep me posted if there's anything in the chat, just because I won't be able to do all these things together. All righty, so let's go ahead and get started. And so regarding our Caregiver Support Program, we have the first program we have is a program of general caregiver support services. Under this program, our caregivers receive services, and just to define what a caregiver is, it's anyone who is providing care to our veterans. It can be mothers, daughters, sisters, spouses, friends, even neighbors. But one of the things with that is that caregivers can be paid and unpaid. It can be formal or informal. So for the general program, it's pretty much providing support to those caregivers who provide care to our veterans. And we know that caregiving is a long journey. For some, it's short. Others, it can be quite long and sometimes hard. So that's something to also keep in mind is that if you are a caregiver yourself and you're starting to feel stress, anxiety, things like that, it's something that's normal, but we would encourage you just to reach out to individuals. Now, caregiving can be really rewarding. You're providing care to a loved one or someone that you care about. You kind of are filled with satisfaction and you're helping someone else through a hard time. And so those are the different things that our caregivers kind of experience throughout their journey. And there's roughly about 14.3 million caregivers providing care to military veterans or members of our service. And so when we're talking about caregivers providing care to veterans, caregivers face unique challenges, different than non-service, non-veteran caregivers and things like that. And so some of the unique challenges our caregivers face are related to financial strain, emotional distress, and then also having to work with our veterans who are dealing with PTSD, other mental health or medical related issues because of their service. And so that's very challenging for our caregivers as well, because they have to navigate all of those things. So even a veteran has more complex caring needs than someone who is not a veteran. And so our caregivers here with the general program, we partner with other agencies, resources, just to make sure that we support our caregivers. So they're not alone, and that's what we try to really focus on, is making sure that our caregivers are not alone. And also, we understand that caregiving has come from a long history, right? Caregivers provide care to other family members, children, their own parents, and things like that before they officially, end up as the caregiver role for the veteran. So they just face different experiences, and also we understand that caregiving doesn't necessarily only start later in life. It can be in the earlier years of that caregiver. The only thing too is that our legislation has supported us providing care to our caregivers. We have had Informational Technology Act of 2026 that allowed us to provide more services to caregivers. We've had the VA Mission Act also in 2018 expanded our Caregiver Support Program. And so there's a lot of support that is coming down for our caregivers for providing care to our veterans. And so if you find yourself that you're like, yeah, I think that fits me, I think I might qualify for the general program. The general program is, if you're interested, is basically a brief intake. So you would speak with one of us here at our facility, and we would just kind of ask some questions. There is no formal application. There is no clear clinical review that's required for the general program. The only thing that we ask is that the veteran be enrolled with VA medical care. That is the most important thing, is that the veteran needs to be associated with our VA. One of our VAs here in Michigan, or anyone actually, because if they're traveling, there's many VA medical centers around the nation. But as long as he's connected with, or she is connected with a medical health care. Another requirement is that the veteran need assistance with personal care services. Things like not being able to dress himself or herself, needing assistance with daily activities, or need supervision, protection, instruction. And so we would ask the veteran if they're okay in allowing their caregiver to join our program. And then the caregiver, if of course the veteran says yes, then we can enroll the caregiver in our program. And so those are really the way you would normally start the general side of the program. Now, for the other side of the program that we have is called Program of Comprehensive Assistance for Family Caregivers. On this side of the program, caregivers who apply can be designated as an official PCAFC caregiver to the veteran. And that veteran could have up to 2 caregivers formally with our program on this side. for the family side, we normally call it the family side. The family side, there is an application that needs to be submitted, and everyone on the application needs to sign the form. And it can be mailed in or it can be completed online. And so I'm going to go into great detail a little bit later about the requirements for the family side of the program. And just wanted to distinguish again, there's two sides of the program, the PGCSS and PCAFC, which is what we call the family. So to continue on the family side, for this particular side, there are actual evaluations that need to be completed. So veterans will have to go, veterans and both caregivers as well, will have to go through an application process. There'll be assessments, different things like that in order to see if the veteran is eligible for this program. So what is the criteria? You know, because sometimes you just want to know what's the criteria for even to apply. So the first criteria to be aware of is that the veteran needs to have at least a minimum of a 70% service connection rating. And it could be a single service connection rating, or it can be a combined, but it has to be a total of a minimum of 70% service connection rating. And then the next thing is that the veteran should need assistance with personal care services. And it has to be for a minimum of 6 continuous months. And so what it means regarding personal care services is that the veteran needs hands-on care in the areas of bathing, dressing, feeding, toileting, and grooming. Someone needs to assist them with those things. It's not like by choice. It's a need. The veteran needs that assistance. If he doesn't get that help, then he would not be able to complete those himself or herself, and would have the challenges. And so the other criteria for that is that under needing assistance of personal care services, there's another category, which is needing supervision, protection, instruction due to neurological impairment or injury. So for this one is also the same, which is the continuous 6 months. And this one is where they provide, someone needs to help the veteran, guide them, keep them safe, memory issues, things that affect the veteran's ability to function on their own. And so we also have to determine whether if this program, PCAFC, is in the best interest for the veteran. So a couple other things that they'll do is see if the veteran is doing everything that he can, and the veteran caregiver is also assisting the veteran the best that they can. And so they'll take a look at that if it's in the best interest. If they have a caregiver who is not following doctor requirements, treatment plans for the veteran, or the caregiver is actually more hurtful to the veteran, then they'll opt to deny the application for this program because it's not in the best interest for the veteran to be in that type of relationship or that environment. And so the other requirement for the veteran is that they need to receive care at home. So they cannot be in the hospital setting or in a nursing home setting. They have to receive care at home by the caregiver, and also maintain an ongoing connection with the medical team. That's a very, very important, is the medical team, because they'll be they'll be looking to the medical record to see if the veteran is connected with VA medical care. So that's very important to consider. And just kind of a little bit more about the caregivers, right? Because this is a program for our caregivers. So our caregivers who apply for the family side have to be at least 18 years of age. So there is a minimum requirement of at least 18 years of age. And it can be anyone. It can be, it can be anyone, but there are limitations. So it can be a spouse, a son, a daughter, step family member, extended family member, anyone who is going to live, is either related to the veteran. Okay, that can be anyone like that I listed. But let's say if it's not a family member, or it's not someone who, mostly a family member. So let's say if it's a neighbor, or let's say it's someone that they just recently met and they've made some arrangements that they're going to provide care to the veteran. So if it's not a family member, that individual has to live with the veteran. So that's the difference, is when it's a non-family member, for our program, they're required to live with the veteran. And so that's a very distinguishable difference, because sometimes individuals, neighbors, family, friends think that they can apply, and they can. But one of the things that we express is that at the end, they have to move in with the veteran in order to be eligible for this program. And so the other thing that we also determine is that we assess to make sure that the veteran is not being abused nor neglected by the caregiver. Caregivers throughout the process of our application will receive caregiver training. They will also participate in in-home assessments, just to make sure that they're able to carry out their responsibilities and ensure that the veteran is getting the care at home. So it's just not a quick and easy thing. So we always try to share that. And of course, don't feel like you have to write everything down. Just there will be a couple phone numbers I will give you at the end, and the websites too, that all this information is listed there. But if you don't want to read online, you can just call us. You can call our local VA to our Caregiver Support Program, and we can definitely go over this information as well. I just don't want you to feel that, oh, she's talking too fast and I have to write all this and this is too much. Because I understand, because I'm the one saying everything. So I completely understand that. But just know there's people here to support you. Now, just to kind of discuss what the benefits are, right? So when we have veterans and caregivers who apply to the program, okay, you're applying, but what are you getting out of this program, right? It is one of the important questions. Is this good for you, and would it benefit you? And so for our veterans, when you have an assigned caregiver, that becomes one of those things that the caregiver we rely on to make sure you're getting the care at home, to make sure that you're getting the treatment at home. So that's very important in regards to the veteran. Now, for the caregiver, if you're in the general side of the program, where you will get training, support groups, there'll be different activities, different online services available to you, and I'll go over those as well. But we also, Nicole and Stacy, they're in the general side of the program. They've offered CPR classes. They've offered in-person support groups for our caregivers. And also respite is something else that is also offered as part of the VA. Now, for our caregivers in the family side, the Program of Comprehensive Assistance for the family side, everyone in the family side can participate in the general. It's just that the general can't get all the benefits that the family side has. So the difference is that on the family side, if the veteran is eligible, then the caregiver would receive a monthly stipend. A stipend just means basically you'll receive a check for the care you're providing the veteran in the home. In addition to that, you will have wellness contacts where we would check in with the caregiver, make sure that she's doing well or he is doing well, provide any kind of supports needed. We also offer caregivers mental health services, therapists if need be, and we also do Benny travel, which is reimbursement for taking the veteran to appointments and things like that. And in cases where our caregivers don't have any health insurance, we also have Champ VA for caregivers. And we also have legal and financial planning services available for our caregivers who are in the general side. So there are a little bit differences between these two programs, but just because you are in the general side doesn't mean that you can't in the future apply to the family side. So you can kind of go in between, but the only constant requirement is that you're caring for a veteran. Just because the moment that you're not caring for the veteran, then technically you're not a caregiver for our program anymore. So therefore we would have to discharge at that point. And so those are just generally the differences. But let me go back a little bit about what other skilled trainings are available for our caregivers. So the team that drives the trainings is with the general side. So the general side, like I had mentioned earlier, they have done SAVE trainings, which is suicide prevention trainings. They've done CPR classes. They have access to building better caregivers, where you can work on learning different topics on your own on the computer, and we have that access. We also have AnyText. AnyText is where the caregivers will receive messages, personalized messages regarding different topics. We have topics of stress, general caregiving. We even have grief messages that the system will send the caregiver, just a way to stay connected with the caregiver and let them know, hey, you're not alone. You're not alone in this, and these are what you can do. These are suggestions and tips that you will receive via text if you are in the general or the family side of the program. And then, of course, you would have access to our online website. Actually, anyone has access to the website, which is our VA Caregiver Support Program. You can definitely go on there, take a look, explore topics. There's videos, there's handouts, communication, suggestions if that's what you're struggling with your veteran. So there's different resources available on our website as well. And the general, actually, so we have some caregivers who are like, I'm having a little bit of extra difficulty with this. So our general program offers a program called Caregiver Health and Wellbeing Coaching. So they will meet with the caregiver one-on-one to meet personal goals that caregiver has. So if that caregiver wants to work on something by themselves or on their own, the general program is there to help them reach their own goals. And not everything revolves around the veteran. So we try to focus on the caregiver to kind of help her meet whatever goal that she or he is trying to meet for themselves. And then we also have VA Reach. The Reach program is dedicated for like Parkinson's. I believe they're going to have a dementia Reach coming up where it's a sessions, a next amount of classes, and they talk about different things within that topic. And you get to connect with other caregivers as well, because then they also have specific support groups related to that topic. And so that's a great way to connect with other people, but also have that one-on-one support from one of the coordinators, the social workers here for our program. And so the support groups that we have available, Nicole has been trying to expand the different types of support groups we have. So we have in-person support groups. We have support groups that are just virtual. And then we have a call-in, I think she calls it a coffee chat, where people just kind of call in, and then there is no set schedule. There is no set agenda. It's just whatever the caregivers want to talk about when they log in and they connect for that day. And like I mentioned too, they also have a Parkinson's support group as well. And the VA in general is working on focusing on thriving through change and loss. I believe this year she's going to launch the dementia classes, like I mentioned. Art and journaling, that's something else that we're going to be focusing on in the future. So just basically meaning that we are trying to expand the different services we have for our caregivers, because not every caregiver is the same and not every caregiver processes the same. So we're trying to have different ways to connect with our caregivers so you feel connected with other individuals as well. And she's also working on building a peer support group mentoring, where we can team you up with another caregiver and provide you the mentoring one-on-one from another peer. So that's exciting. That's exciting news that's coming our way as well. Again, one other thing I want to highlight is respite care. So for every caregiver, whether it's providing care for a veteran or providing care for a non-veteran, it's important to focus on respite. Respite is ensuring that you take a break for yourself, that you have a moment, you take a breather. The VA is very fortunate to have the ability to send someone to the home to provide that respite for that caregiver. So that is exciting. And we always encourage our caregivers to take time for themselves, either by going out to the store, go shopping, spend time with family members, or just go to the mall. Just some downtime, because mentally and physically you get tired. And so our mission is to make sure our caregivers understand that it's okay. It's okay to do that. And sometimes we have to talk to our veterans and say, hey, let her go, let him go, let him go a little bit, give him a couple of hours. And they understand after we have a discussion. It's not that they're being left alone. We do provide support, and it's just something new. So we always talk about respite as an important part of self-care. And so now nationally, what we have available is a line that we call the Caregiver Support Line. The Caregiver Support Line is intended to provide services to caregivers and veterans who call that line. That line is not like a crisis line, or it's not a line that that you will get immediate assistance when it comes to crisis, but it is kind of like an informational line. So you will call there, and if you have a question, if you want to learn more about the program, or just interested, or you do have a problem, what they'll do is that they'll connect you back to our local VA, to your local VA, and then we will follow up with anything that you might have. But that CSL line takes over 1 million calls. And so they've taken over 1 million calls from all of our caregivers nationwide and our veterans, and we try to provide them information through the VA and even local resources. So that's also important to know, and I can provide that phone number if anyone wants it. And so I know I'm talking a lot, and I have no visuals for you, and so I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I swear that there's beautiful pictures here that I'm looking at, but unfortunately, because of technology, I was not able to share it with you. So I'm going to take a few minutes here and take a little break, and then ask if there's any general questions, if there's anything anyone wants me to go back and talk about, I can do that. So feel free to let me know, or if Sydney, if there's any questions, if you wouldn't mind sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and just wait.
Yeah, Karla, I do want to say too, I've been putting some resources in the chat as you've been talking about those programs. So I put in the general website, the website for the program of General Caregiver Support Services, the fact sheet that you guys have online, the comprehensive assistance for family caregivers website, a couple fact sheets to go with that. And then I did put in that caregiver support line as well for anyone. So as you've been talking about them, I've been kind of putting them in there if people can can click on them.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. So yeah, so does anyone have any other questions or anything they want for me to go back on or elaborate on?
I do see Kay asked that she's in Minnesota. Is this information here today only for Michigan?
Oh, well, welcome, Minnesota. Actually, this program is nationwide. The VA healthcare system is nationwide. So what I would probably encourage you to do is I can give you that number to the CSL line, and you can call them and ask them what caregiver support program is closest to you, and you can connect through them. And they will also follow up with you as well. Actually, I do see the number. Sydney, did you drop it in there?
Yes, I have. It's the 1-855-260-3274.
Yes.
Okay.
You can, yeah. So every state has a caregiver support program. The only thing is that just depending on how what medical center you are near, that'll dictate what program you're associated with. So it's available everywhere. It's a national program. Great question.
And then I just had a question, Karla, about your respite care. Are there specific requirements that the caregivers or veterans have to, have? Is there any eligibility requirements for that respite care program?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the main criteria is that the veteran needs to be connected with VA Medical Center. So they have to get care at the VA. They have to, it doesn't mean that that's the only type of care that they will get. So if you have a private doctor, if you use your own insurance, you can still keep all of that. You can still keep your primary doctor. The only thing is that you need to be connected with VA medical care and see our VA doctor at least once every 2 years to keep that connection active. And so two things. When we're talking about veterans in the general population, let's say they're not in the Caregiver Support Program. So veterans not in the Caregiver Support Program, and also this also falls under the general program. They have access to 30 calendar days of respite. So 30 calendar days of respite. Just the general veterans and also veterans who are not in our program as well get 30 days. And so that is determined that is approved based on the medical provider that the veteran is seeing. So the veteran's medical doctor has to approve respite. So that's why they have to be connected with the medical provider here at the VA. And so as long as you use, so you have 30 calendar days to use, so you can use them together, separate throughout the year. It kind of rolls that way. Now, if you are in if you are in the family side of the program, where this is the side where the caregiver will receive a stipend, the benefit of being in the family side of the program is that respite is not that fixed. So it's more flexible. We can do more than 30 days. We can do ongoing respite for 120 days. But it's all dependent on what the veteran needs and what the caregiver needs and approval and of course our budget. but it's more flexible because we do understand that it takes a lot out of our caregivers. And we do have different types of respite. We have respite in the home. We can do respite at our VA medical facility. We can do respite at an adult daycare. We can do respite at a nursing home. And I believe that's it. Yeah, I think those are the main ways that we would do respite for our caregivers.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Karla? Feel free to unmute or put in the chat. Yeah, Robert, you just have to unmute. There should be a little microphone on the bottom of your screen that you can click. Wonder what else.
Can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yep.
Yes, I got a question that's kind of a little bit different. I pretty much understand everything she covered. Do you guys know, I live in Escoda, Michigan, Iwasso County. Do you know if we have a VA rep here in Escoda that I could contact? Because I've had a question for VA about my Medicare, and every place that I've called has given me a different answer. And I would like somebody that really knows what they're talking about to be able to give me an answer on my question.
Okay. Is this something you want to talk right now with everyone, or do you want to hang back and I can answer that privately?
Well, no, that's fine. I can discuss it here. More the better. More heads together is better.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, so my first question.